The concept of Om first appears in the Vedas, the religious texts that form the foundation of Hinduism. According to the texts, specific vibrations, created through ritualistic chanting, singing, and prayer, can provide a direct connection between humans and the gods themselves.
The importance of sound in Hinduism and Buddhism is very, very vital. Without sound, you cannot pronounce a mantra. Mantra is combined words made into invocation.
As described in the Vedic texts, the gods provided humankind with a visual aid to remember these sacred sounds, elaborate patterns called mandalas.
Mandalas are mnemonic devices used to aid meditation, often in tandem with chanting. What's interesting is that in Hindu temples, we have a visual representation of mandalas. So what they're doing is they're essentially translating sound into visual patterns. In modern technology, these are called Chladni patterns.
In 1787, German physicist Ernst Chladni, known as the father of acoustics, published his seminal work, Discoveries in the Theory of Sound. In it, Chladni describes an experiment that shows how vibrations can create exotic geometric shapes.
We've got this thing called the Chladni plate, after the scientist who invented it. It's a thin metal plate, like a sounding board, and we've got a transducer attached to the bottom of it. And they spread sand over the top of this plate, and we start playing certain tones. And those sand particles start to bounce around and dance around, and they start to form these mathematical circular patterns. And as we move up through these frequencies, the sand goes into kind of a chaos in-between state, and then it arrives at this next pattern. And the higher the frequency you go, the more these patterns become more complex.
In the 1960s, Swiss scientist Hans Jenny was experimenting with Chladni patterns when he noticed an extraordinary connection.
Jenny tried it with Om, and it generated an image of a circle with a dot in the middle. That itself is actually very interesting, because the most fundamental elements of any mandala will usually be a circle with a dot marking the cosmic center.
Today, the patterns made by frequencies are known as cymatics.
In modern technology, we are able to create visual representations of sounds. What is remarkable is that we see the same patterns in Hindu temples, in ancient Indian structures.